Perfect. Now, today we'll start creating this Azure virtual machine, and there are some other things that you'll have to learn while creating the Azure virtual machine itself. I'll explain it to you. So create JSON HTML. Now, whatever the services that you're seeing in here, right? These are the recently visited services by me. Okay, I have recently visited these. Okay, that is what you're seeing it in here. Go to virtual machines, hit on create. Now, what are the two mandatory fields that are required to create any service in Azure?
Research group.
So we would need a resource group, not VM, sir. It's a resource group. Okay, a resource group is a must thing in Azure. Okay, let's say I'll create a test resource group. Now, just by creating a resource group, will we be charged? Just by creating a resource group, do we get charged? Faisal, what there? Only resource group creation. Mahesh?
Yes, Santosh.
Faisal, what there? Resource group creation.
లేదు Santosh.
Yeah. So if you create only a resource group, you will not be charged, sir. Because it is just a logical separation. It's a logical group. Okay, it's like your folder in your laptop or a desktop. If you create a folder, you'll not be charged, right? Or AIM storage, AIM utilize it doesn't utilize your storage. Okay, that's the reason. Now, virtual machine name, I'll give it as test VM, and I want to create it in East US 2. Okay, as a matter of fact, I can create it in any region. Now, no availability zone, and we are going to create Windows 2016 server. Now, till this point, we have discussed yesterday. Moving on. So, if I have to create a server, I need to create on top of a CPU and RAM, right? OS create చేయాలంటే, in order to create an OS, I need the capacity, that is CPU and RAM. Okay, now this is what it is. Now, how many sizes will be there? This is called as a size. There are 500 plus sizes. Now you need to pick based on your requirement. Ante requirement etluntadante, how the requirement will be like. You need to ask your requester. You need to ask your requester that, what actually your application will consume a lot. If I ask, like, let's say a customer came in and said, like, hey Santosh, I want to deploy so and so application, so please provide me with so and so CPU and RAM. Okay, let's say he asked me for 4 CPU and let's say 16 GB of RAM. 4-core CPU, 16 GB RAM is in general purpose and doesn't need a continuous CPU performance. Even there you got it in D series, B series, okay, and in different other series also you've got this. Now, what is that I need to pick? I have plenty of these things in here. Which one I need to pick? That all depends on customer requirement. Now I need to ask the I need to ask the question to the customer that hey, what is that your application consumes more? Is it CPU or is it RAM or is it storage? Now that detail is what I need. Only then I will be able to give customer a right sizing. Okay, now let's say for example, if you just look at this B series Quelte, it is ideal for workloads that do not need a continuous CPU performance. But if customer says no, I want a double X performance, I need to go with F series. If customer says I need more of a storage, I need to go with L series. Okay, and every size will have its own billing. If you just scroll to your right, you will be able to see the billing. Now for this practice purpose, please select only B2S. Now this is a question that most of the people ask me. Chala mandi question adutunnanu. Entante sir, what is the difference between me working here and me working in the production environments? The only difference is that in here you will be selecting the smaller sizes because paisal mana jebulaki cut aithayi kabatti you need to pay the money from your pockets, right? So you will be choosing this one. It will be charged 2,608 rupees per month, which means almost like 4 rupees per hour. Okay, you do your practice, you delete your server, you'll not be charged. Okay. Now
Okay.
but for customer, whatever he asks, we should be giving it, correct? Because over there you are not going to pay the bill. Antena? Yes or no? Over there you are not going to pay the bill. Agree on this, everyone? Hello?
Agree.
Right. Now for this, see, the beauty about cloud is whatever you learn here, you will be doing it in production environments exactly the same. ఇక్కడ ఏం నేర్చుకుంటారో ప్రొడక్షన్ లో కూడా అదే చేస్తారు సార్. The only difference is here we are selecting the smaller sizes for the sake of our comfortability, but in production you will be selecting based on customers requirement. అర్థమైందా? Any questions? Any questions? No? And one request from me to everyone. Okay, please join on time. Okay, so this time I'll be repeating Devender. Okay, but from the next time I'll be waiting. This is for everyone. I'll be waiting for a couple of minutes or maximum of 5 minutes, and then I'll have to start because I cannot stop for one particular person. Okay, there are other people, let's not waste others' time. So I was Devender, you are there yesterday, right?
Yes.
So ideally we have started this. We have started creating the virtual machine. Okay, and we have selected a resource group, virtual machine name. Okay, and I'm creating this server in Central East US2. Okay, and we're going to create a Windows 2016 server. And for this server, I'm going to pick up the 2-core CPU, 4 GB RAM capacity. Okay, now guys, where are we creating this server? Eda create chestam anedi
US East to US 2.
East to US 2, right? Now, to access this server, I need to set up this credentials, right? Authentication. Secure undali kada sir? Yes or no?
Yes, yes.
Now, username password is what I am setting up. Perfect. Now set up the username password. Again, I'm asking the same question. Where am I creating this server?
East US.
East US.
And from where we will be accessing this server? From
East US.
no,
East.
now local machine, yes, sir. From my local machine, I should be able to access, right?
Yes.
Antena kada? See,
Yes,
I'm
yes.
creating it in East US too, sir. But from where you will be accessing? Right now, I'm in Hyderabad. Okay, let me prove that to you. What is my IP? Now this is my IP. Now this IP location is at, wait a minute. See, I'm in Hyderabad. Based on the IP, it says I'm in Hyderabad. So from Hyderabad, I should be able to access this server, which is in central US too. Ardhamainda? Now, the point is, which means I should be able to access it remotely. Avuna? Guys, antena? Do I have to access this remotely?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
ante
yes.
kada. I'm in Hyderabad, it's in US, ideally it should be remote. Now, to access a Windows server, this is standard, guys. This is standard and okay, Windows server ni remotely, if you want to access, we need to access over a port called 3389, which is RDP, type RDP 3389 port. This is standard. Now you might ask me, what if it's a Linux? It is port 22. Okay, because we are creating a server in cloud, which is a Windows server, and if I have to access this Windows server remotely, the port is 3389. అర్థమైంది ఇక్కడ వరకు? Is that understood?
Yes.
Now
Yes,
we are creating a 2016 data center, which is an operating system. Now guys, tell me, where does your operating system files sit in your laptop or a desktop?
program files.
Program files, which is in a C drive, right? Which means you need a storage, Naveen, correct?
Yes.
Venkat? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
But here we are only picking CPU and RAM. Where is the storage? Go to the next page. See, this is where you're actually requesting for the OS disk type. Got it? Now, this will be of three types: premium SSD, standard SSD, and standard HDD. What is the difference between HDD and an SSD? Hard disk drive, and a solid state drive disk. Now, what is the main difference actually? I've just given a abbreviation, but what is the main difference? Solid,
SSD is the super fast accessing and reboot and
correct.
boot is very fast.
So booting up the machine will be fast. Disk reads and writes on this machine, on this disk, will be fast, right? And it's a new generation one. Got it? Hello? Right.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Now, wait a minute. Okay, just a minute, guys. Now, for this practice purpose, we'll pick up standard SSD. Okay, as you go up the ladder, పైకి వెళ్తున్నా కొద్దీ మనకు బిల్లింగ్ కూడా పెరుగుతూ ఉంటుంది. But let's go with standard SSD for now. Guys, don't worry, I'll be explaining you about the pricing one day. Okay, don't worry. Okay, how the pricing will be on the cloud, we'll have a good discussion on the pricing. Okay, I can promise you that. Now, networking. Sir, I'm creating a server in East US 2 and I want to access it from India, Hyderabad. Yes, it's a Windows server, I've allowed the port, but I need to call this machine, right, to access the machine, to access. Now, how should I call the machine? With a public IP. So I'm asking a public IP with Azure to this machine that, hey, I need a public IP to access this server. Okay, now public IP is unique across the world. If you are using a public IP, no one in this world will be using this same public IP. Is that clear? Now let's leave the rest of the things and let's go ahead and create this server. Now this server is going to cost me 3 rupees 57 paisa. Okay, but this is not the actual pricing. Okay, what is the actual pricing is what you will learn when we go to the Azure pricing model.
సంతోష్ బట్ 1 month ఫ్రీ ట్రయల్ లో ఫ్రీనే కదా ఇది?
See, in the first one it is free, Mahesh. Okay, but I'm talking about the month after. Okay,
ఓకే.
it will take some time, we'll have to wait. All right, so our machine is created. Perfect. Now go to resource. This is our server. This is our server. Okay, now is this server really running? Yes, but is it really running? I don't know, because guys, have you ever observed when you are starting up your laptop or a desktop, you'll have 3 to 4 screens changing, right? There will be it will start booting up. Okay, it will pick some OS files, there is a 2-3 levels. Only after that you get a control alt delete screen and then you will be logged into your server machine like this. Agree? Antena?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes.
Now this is cloud. We don't get to see all that because this is a virtual machine. But can I check where exactly my server status is in? If I scroll down, go to boot diagnostics. Okay. If I go to boot diagnostic, screenshot choose say if I'm seeing this screenshot, which means my server is up and running. But if I don't see this screenshot, which means I cannot log into the server yet. This is the only thing that we rely on. Now, sometimes what happens, customer comes in and say like, hey, Santosh, I'm not able to access the server. I'll immediately come to this boot diagnosis and see where exactly this, the server status is in. If the server status is this, then it's fine. Maybe he doesn't have an access to that server, or he's not accessing in a right way, or maybe his IP is not listed to access. Okay, but how to allow the IP and all you will learn in the next sessions. Okay, when we go to the networking and security sessions, you will learn there. Okay, now sticking to the point. Now that my machine is ready, now machine ready only, I will access this. Now see this public IP, this is unique across the world. Now in every machine, you will have something called as a remote desktop connection. Me anni laptops or desktop lo, you will be able to see this. Click on that. Give the IP and hit enter. Okay. Now remember the authentication. Username, password, Adival. See, I've got this, the prompt to give the credentials because I have allowed port 3389. 3389 allow chesina kabatte నాకు ఇక్కడికి వచ్చింది. If I don't allow the port 3389, I will not get this prompt. So please remember that. Click OK. Done. So within 5 minutes, if you are fast enough, you can just create your server within 5 minutes in Azure. Okay, it just takes 5 minutes, guys, to create a server in Azure. Any questions till this point? Anyone? All right. Now this is fine. Let's minimize this. Now tomorrow, if customer comes and say like, hey, Santosh, I don't want, see, I want to increase the capacity. Is that possible? Yes, absolutely possible. Okay, but it requires a downtime. Okay, to increase the capacity of the server, it requires a downtime. Okay, so go to this size in here. On the left hand side, you will see something called size. Go to this size and just select what customer is asking for and hit resize. But keep customer informed that ideally he will be aware of it. Okay, if you are increasing the size, your billing is increasing. Point number 1. Point number 2, your server will reboot. Okay, downtime ante, which means మీ server కొద్దిసేపు access కాదు. So you need to take approval from the customer that hey, your server will not be accessible for a certain period of time. If you are okay, we are good to do that. And hope you are aware that your pricing will change. Okay, taking that into consideration, you can just hit resize. Okay, refresh. See, 2-core CPU, 8 GB RAM. It's quite simple. Okay, now whatever the changes that I make on the portal level to this server, everything will be logged in here. చాలా మంది లాగ్స్ అడుగుతారు కదా సిస్టమ్ మీద లాగ్స్ from the portal level. This is where you can see. You can actually view each and every log in here. Okay, and what was done and who did that and when was it done, timestamp, everything will be logged. Okay, this is one very good feature that I really like in Azure and which I don't find it in AWS. In AWS, I have to go to a service called CloudTrail to find the information about a particular thing. But in Azure, I can just come here and see. It's standard for each and every service. Okay. Now, let us log into this server again. A remote desktop connection. Now, before we log into the server, tell me one thing. What is the format that you follow in your laptop? Now, do you create something called as a C drive, D drive, and keep your data segregated, or do you dump all your data in one drive? How do you do that? What method do you follow? అంటే అంత డేటా తీసుకపోయి ఒకటే డ్రైవ్ లో పెడతా లేదా సి డ్రైవ్ డి డ్రైవ్ అని సెపరేట్ గా పార్టిషన్స్ రైట్. నౌ వై డు యు డు పార్టిషన్స్?
Partition
ఎందుకు అఖిల్?
to secure our data.
Secure our data and
to identify
And
to identify easily.
okay, and antena. Is that it?
like no sir, like different folders we can keep in that. Like one folder, one drive will be from one kind of thing, and one folder, one drive will be another kind of thing.
Correct. What you all said is absolutely right, sir. Okay, అయితే see, the total point is there is every chance that your OS might get corrupted. Agree? Right? Maybe not today. There is every chance because this is a stupid operating system. You never know what happens. But if you have only one drive, right, and you have your all operating system data, your actual data మొత్తం ఒకటే drive లో ఉందనుకో, and if your OS get crashed, all your data is also lost. Correct? So దానికోసం మనం ఏం చేస్తామంటే we actually segregate the drives so that if something happens to the C drive, we'll only format that C drive. Whatever the data that you have it in D drive is secure. Am I correct or wrong? Mahesh, Krishna?
Yes, Santosh.
Yes, Santosh.
Avuna? So can I say this is the best practice to follow?
సంతోష్ నాకు తెలిసినంత వరకు సి డ్రైవ్ ఓన్లీ అప్లికేషన్ సంబంధించిన సిస్టమ్ సంబంధించిన కాన్ఫిగరేషన్ ఫైల్స్ స్టోర్ చేసుకోవడానికి
Exactly. OS files.
ఓఎస్. ఎందుకంటే రిమైనింగ్ ఏదైనా పీడిఎఫ్ మనకు సంబంధించిన డాక్యుమెంట్స్ అక్కడ పెడితే డ్రైవ్ కరప్ట్ చేసుకోవడానికి ఎక్కువ
Drive corrupt, there is every possibility that your OS or some or other external factor might fail your operating system, right? If your operating system is failed, you don't have to lose your data, right? Okay, you need to keep your data secure. Now let me go to this machine. Ee machine lo chupista, you're seeing only 2 disks, correct? One is C drive and one is D drive, and D drive says temporary storage. Guys, can everyone read this for me? Just a minute. Mahesh, I think you know this, but others, can everyone read this for me? What is it? What does it say? Krishna, what does it say? Navin, others? కనిపిస్తుందండి?
Yes.
We cannot
What is
store
it
any
saying?
data
Sir,
in this.
don't read this, sir. Don't read this. Okay, read this. కింద అర్థం కాదు ఓవర్కి, బట్ టాప్ చెప్పండి వెంకట్. Tell me.
Don't use your personal data.
Okay, Tashneem, what is that you have understood, ma'am?
Do not store personal data.
Okay, thank you. So can I say one simple thing? By reading this, I've understood that I shouldn't be using this disk. నాకు అర్థమైంది ఏంటంటే సింపుల్ లాంగ్వేజ్ లో ఈ డిస్క్ యూజ్ చేయొద్దని చెప్తున్నాడు. Am I correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Right? See, the total point is, what is he saying? Any data stored on this drive is subject to loss and there is no way to recover it. Now, dude, if Microsoft is saying that, do you really want me to use it? Hello?
No, sir.
Right? వాడే చెప్తున్నాక ఇంకా మనం పోయి యూజ్ చేస్తే మనం పిచ్చోళం అవుతామా కాదా? హలో guys,
Yes.
is that understood or not? Right?
Yes.
Yes, also.
Now,
Yeah.
you might ask me a question then. Now, tell me, Santosh, why is he giving this? Yes or no? I think Mahesh, you have that question in your mind, right? ఎందుకు ఇస్తున్నారు మరి? How many discs that you see in here? Answer me. How many discs that you're seeing it in here?
2.
Right? Perfect. Now tell me, if I go to the discs in here, how many discs that you are seeing it in here? Hello? How many discs?
Only one.
Only one, right? But inside the server we have two. One is 127, one is 16 GB. Now where is the other 16 GB drive? I'll tell you what. Just give me a moment. Let me connect my pen. There is something that you need to understand in here as to why we shouldn't use that temporary storage. So you need to understand an Azure backend setup first. Okay. See, this is my VM, correct? And which is a virtual machine. So which means test VM with 2-core CPU, 8 GB RAM, correct? And I have got 127 GB hard disk. Sir, and this VM also have 16 GB of temporary storage. Let me write it down clearly. Test VM with 2-core CPU, 8 GB RAM, and a 16 GB temporary storage, and a one, or else ikkadne undi kada, we have 127 GB of storage. Now you see this entire thing, this comes from a, or else let me, yeah, this is your server, this is your VM, this is your physical server which is inside backend data center. Now you see this 2-core CPU, 8 GB RAM, and 16 GB of temporary storage. You get this from a one server, and you see this 127 GB, you get this from a sandbox. Okay, అర్థమైందా? ఈ CPU RAM and a temporary storage, you get it from one physical server, and this size, the disk, you get it from an other separate storage box. No, what is the difference? But you didn't answer my question. Now why I shouldn't use this? I'll tell you. When I stop this server, okay, this CPU and RAM will be released de-allocated. Now people might ask me, will there be a data loss? Come on, guys. Does CPU and RAM store any data? No, right? Data is stored it in here. CPU and RAM is only used for processing your applications. CPU is to process your applications. While processing the application, the temporary data will be stored it in here. RAM. Agree? Hello? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now, when I start the machine again, my VM might get created on a different physical server, sir. I get a CPU and RAM from a different physical server, but this same storage will be shifted. But you see this temporary storage, it is gone. I get a new temporary storage. Based on the size that I have selected, I get a different temporary storage. Now, does everyone understood as to why we shouldn't use the temporary storage? Hello? అర్థమైంది అందరికి? Any questions, please, sir? If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. No?
పర్మనెంట్ డిస్క్స్ క్రియేట్ చేయాలంటే మనం సెపరేట్ గా మళ్ళీ క్రియేట్ చేసుకోవాలి.
That will come, sir. That will come to know in a bit. But till this point, any questions on the temporary storage? No? Okay, fine. So now that you have understood that we shouldn't be using the temporary storage. Fine. Now, Krishna is asking me how I can get an extra storage. Now, Krishna, why do you need an extra storage? Because we shouldn't be using the C drive to store all the data. Avuna?
Yes.
C drive use చేయొద్దు కాబట్టి C drive should be used only to store the OS content.
OS detail. Oh,
Correct?
yes.
So you need an additional disk, right?
Yes.
You see
Yes,
this?
yes.
Create and attach a new disk. Okay, let us create one. Data disk 01. I can select standard SSD and a 4 GB and hit save. Which mean I am creating an additional disk, new disk now. నేను ఇప్పుడు ఒక కొత్త డిస్క్ క్రియేట్ చేసిన. Now, is this permanent? Yes. No matter if you stop and start your server, these disks will be permanently attached to your server unless you delete it. Okay. I think people ask me a question. How many disks that I can attach to a server? Point number one. Point number two, what can be the maximum size that we can pick for the server? Antena? Is that the two questions that you guys have in your mind? Right?
Yes.
Now, how many disks that I can attach to a server depends on the size that we have selected. What is the size that we have selected? B2MS. You see this data disks? I can attach 4. But if I go to B4MS, I can attach 8 data disks. Got the answer for the first question? Everyone?
Yes.
Now, what can be the maximum size of the disk? 32 TB. Each disk, even the OS disk also. Each disk you can attach, you can increase up to 32 TB. Now, let me show you that. I'm clicking on this disk. If I go to size plus performance, see, a maximum of 32 TB is what I can increase. Ardhamayinda? Got the answer for the second question?
Yeah.
Now, and do you observe something strange here? Anyone? Did you guys observe anything strange? నో, ఏం స్ట్రేంజ్ గా అబ్జర్వ్ చేయలేదా?
Yes, sir. For multiple.
వ్యారీ అవుతుంది. ఎస్.
వేరీ అవుతుంది, స్ట్రేంజ్ కాదు సార్. ఇక్కడ స్ట్రేంజ్ ఏంటి అంటే ఇది ఆల్రెడీ డిసైడ్ చేసి పెట్టేసింది ఇక్కడ. ది స్టోరేజ్ ఇస్ ఆల్రెడీ డిసైడెడ్. ఎయిదర్ ఐ నీడ్ టు పిక్ 4, 8, 16, 32. నో, వాట్ ఇఫ్ కస్టమర్ ఇస్ ఆస్కింగ్ మీ 600 GB? if I enter 600, 1024 highlight అయింది సార్. You seeing that? Now if I enter 3000, 4096 got highlighted. So remember one thing, you need to select the disk based on the disk tier, not based on the size, which means even if you give 3000 GB to this disk, or even if you give 4096 GB, you are going to pay the same amount. Got it?
Yes.
Everyone. Hello?
ఇప్పుడు క్లయింట్ కి కూడా 4096 ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ 4096 అంటే 4096 వాళ్ళకి ఇన్ఫార్మ్ చేయాలా? అంటే ఇప్పుడు 3000 రిక్వైర్మెంట్ అడిగారు, సో 4096 దే మనం చెప్పవాలి అంతేగా?
Yeah, see, if customer ask like, dude, give me a 3000 GB to this disk, I need to inform him that, sir, నేను నీకు 3000 ఇచ్చిన 4096 ఇచ్చిన బిల్లింగ్ ఒకటే కట్టాలి.
ఓకే.
So instead I'll give this E50.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes.
All right. Everyone? Is everyone on the same page?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I'll tell you a small funny thing actually. నిన్నేమైంది, there was one server which wasn't been patched since 2 months. Okay, patching అంటే ఐడియా ఉందండి అందరికి? Do you know what is patching mean?
Updates.
Okay. You know, every month when you're shutting down your desktop or laptop, it says update and shut down, right? Ade. So I was actually expecting this. వాడు 2 months నుంచి ప్యాచింగ్ చేయాలి ఆ సర్వర్ కి. ఆ సర్వర్ మీద there is some application running. యాక్చువల్ డేటాబేస్ అనుకుంటా. నిన్న కస్టమర్ ఏమనంటే ప్యాచెస్ ఇన్స్టాల్ చేసేయమన్నారు. చేసేయమన్నారు. మా టీం వాళ్ళు నైట్ ప్యాచింగ్ చేసేసారు, అప్లికేషన్ వండుకుంది. See, ideally, I'll tell you what. When there is a patch released by the Microsoft, equally the application which is running on top of that server should to be upgraded. అంటే మీ ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ తో పాటు ఇప్పుడు ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ అప్డేట్స్ ఓరిస్తారు మైక్రోసాఫ్ట్, అప్లికేషన్ మీరు మేనేజ్ చేసుకుంటున్నారు, మీరు కూడా అప్లికేషన్ ని అప్గ్రేడ్ చేసుకోవాలి సార్. లేదంటే కంపాటబిలిటీ దొబ్బుతుంది. ది కంపాటబిలిటీ విల్ బి లాస్ట్. ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు అదే నడుస్తుంది, ఇష్యూ నడుస్తుంది. ఓల్డ్ ప్యాచెస్ నిన్న ఇన్స్టాల్ చేసిన ప్యాచెస్ అన్ఇన్స్టాల్ చేస్తుంది. ఇది ఒక వర్స్ట్ థింగ్ అండ్ ఐటీలో. మైక్రోసాఫ్ట్ ఎవ్రీ మంత్ సెకండ్ ట్యూస్డే ప్యాచెస్ రిలీజ్ చేస్తుంది. ఈ అప్లికేషన్ ఇంజనీర్స్ అప్గ్రేడ్ చేసుకోరు. దే విల్ నాట్ అప్గ్రేడ్ దేర్ హార్డ్వేర్, సారీ దేర్ అప్లికేషన్ సాఫ్ట్వేర్. సో వెన్ వి ఇన్స్టాల్ ది ప్యాచెస్ ఏదో ఒకటి వండుకుంటారు, వచ్చి మీద వాడుకొని వదులుతారు అన్నట్టు. ఐ థింక్ someone might have experienced this in your organizations. Did anyone experience that? No one?
Yes, Santosh.
Yes.
Experience చేసినా? I'm sure most of you will experience in futures. Okay, when you go up the ladder in your career, you will experience this. Okay, that's a funny thing, that something we cannot do anything. Santosh,
నాకు ఒక డౌట్. మాకి ఎవ్రీ మంత్ ఎండ్ కి విండోస్ ప్యాచింగ్ వస్తుంది. ఫ్రమ్ మా సైడ్ నుంచి పర్టికులర్ టైం కి అప్లికేషన్ సర్వీసెస్ అన్ని స్టాప్ చేసుకుంటాం. కానీ అసెంజర్ మాకు వెండర్ ఈ అజూర్ ప్లాట్ఫామ్ అంతా వాళ్ళే చూసుకుంటారు. బిఫోర్ టైం కన్నా ముందే రీబూట్ అవుతుంటాయి సర్వర్స్. వాళ్ళు ఇచ్చిన టైంకి మేము రీస్టార్ట్ చేద్దాం, సర్వీసెస్ స్టాప్ చేసుకుందాం అప్లికేషన్ సర్వీస్ అనుకుంటే కొన్నిసార్లు ముందే స్టాప్ అయిపోతాయి. వాళ్ళకి మెయిల్ వేస్తే ఇలా మేము లాగిన్ అయ్యే లోపలే సర్వర్స్ అన్ని రీబూట్ అవుతున్నాయి, మేము అప్లికేషన్ సర్వీస్
నాకు
స్టాప్
ఒక విషయం
చేసుకోవాలి.
చెప్పండి, నాకు ఒక విషయం చెప్పండి. నేను టైం లైన్స్ అడుగుతా. లెట్స్ సే మీకు ఎంత విండో ఇస్తారు? వాట్ ఈస్ ద విండో ఆఫ్ ది మెయింటెనెన్స్?
2 hours.
2 hours. సో మీరు ఆ విండోలోనే మీరు ఆ సర్వీసెస్ స్టాప్ చేయాలి, అవునా?
రిమైనింగ్ 2 hours బిఫోర్ స్టార్టింగ్ మేము స్టాప్ చేసుకోవాలి. ఇప్పుడు 3కి ఉంటే 3 లోపల మేము అప్లికేషన్ సర్వీస్ అన్ని స్టాప్ చేసుకోవాలి.
3 ముందు మీరు అప్లికేషన్ సర్వీస్ స్టాప్ చేయాలి, రైట్? సో 3 తర్వాత మెషిన్ ప్యాచ్ అవుతుంది.
అవును.
ఓకే, సో ఒక విషయం వాళ్ళని అనుకోండి, ఇప్పుడు 3 తర్వాత ప్యాచెస్ ఇన్స్టాల్ అయ్యి రీబూట్ అవుతుందా, బట్ 3కి ముందే మీరు ప్యాచెస్ ఇన్స్టాల్ అయ్యి రీబూట్ చేస్తున్నారు?
వాళ్ళు 3కి ఇస్తారు టైము, 2:45కి 2:30కి కూడా
then you
ఒకసారి
need to escalate. You need to escalate. Ideally I'll tell you what, Azure లో మీరు ప్యాచెస్ చేయాలి, Azure సర్వర్స్ మీరు ప్యాచెస్ చేయాలంటే మీరు ఐడియల్లీ ఎనీ సర్వర్, Azure అనే కాదు, ఎనీ విండోస్ సర్వర్ ఆర్ లినక్స్ సర్వర్, యూ విల్ సెట్ అ స్కెడ్యూల్, ఆటోమేటిక్ స్కెడ్యూల్ సెట్ చేసి పెడతాం మహేష్. 3 PM కనుకో 3 PM కనుకో 3 PM కి ప్యాచెస్ ఇన్స్టాల్ అయ్యి సర్వర్ బై సర్వర్ ఆర్ ప్యారలల్లీ సైమల్టేనియస్ గా అన్ని ఇన్స్టాల్ అవుతుంటే రీబూట్ అవుతుంటాయి. బట్ ఇట్ హ్యాస్ టు హ్యాపెన్ విత్ ఇన్ దట్ విండో బికాస్ ఐ హావ్ గివెన్ దట్ మెయింటెనెన్స్ ఇన్సైడ్ దట్ టూల్. ఆటోమేషన్ అప్డేట్ మేనేజ్మెంట్ టూల్ ఉంటుంది, అందులో ఇస్తా. ఓకే, ఇఫ్ ఎట్ ఆల్ ఇట్ ఈస్ హ్యాపెనింగ్ బిఫోర్, వాళ్ళ మెయింటెనెన్స్ స్కెడ్యూల్ చెక్ చేయాలి.
ఓకే,
గాట్ ఇట్?
అదే వాళ్ళు అదే చెప్పారు, ఇలాంటి ఏమైనా టైమింగ్స్ ఉంటే మాడిఫై చేయండి నెక్స్ట్ టైం కన్నా అంటే ఓకే చేస్తా ఉంటారు, కానీ మళ్ళీ అలానే వస్తుంది. లాస్ట్ టైం వేసారు క్వశ్చన్ మా వాళ్ళు.
వాళ్ళని ఒకసారి కనుక్కో, మీరు ప్యాచింగ్ ఎట్లా చేస్తారు? ఈజ్ ఇట్ త్రూ SCCM ఆర్ ఆర్ యూ యూజింగ్ ఎనీ అజ్యూర్ నేటివ్ టూల్? ఓకే, అది కనుక్కొని నాకు చెప్పు, నేను సజెస్ట్ చేయగలుగుతా. బట్ ఐడియల్లీ దే నీడ్ టు కరెక్ట్ దేర్ మెయింటెనెన్స్ స్కెడ్యూల్. ప్యాచింగ్ అండి పెద్ద ఓషన్, పెద్ద తలకాయ నొప్పి.
ఓకే,
పెద్ద
ఒకేసారి ఒక 20,000 30,000 సర్వర్స్ ప్యాచింగ్ చేస్తారా?
అంతే కదా, డిపెండ్స్ ఫ్రమ్ క్లయింట్ టు క్లయింట్. ఓకే, సో అన్ని చేస్తున్నారు కాబట్టి దే మైట్ గెట్ లాస్ట్ సమ్ టైమ్స్. అసలు ఆ 1 month అనేది కూడా సరిపోదు ఒక్కోసారి. బట్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు బి కంప్లైంట్ విత్ ఇన్ దట్ 1 month. ఓకే, it's a cycle that you have to, you will get lost in that cycle, Manish. Okay, you will be lost in that cycle. Okay, fine. మీరైతే ఆ స్కెడ్యూల్, మెయింటెనెన్స్ స్కెడ్యూల్ సెట్ చేసుకోమని చెప్పండి అలా. ఓకే, ఆర్ మీరు ఇట్లా అడగొచ్చు, ఆ సర్వర్ కి మెయింటెనెన్స్ స్కెడ్యూల్ ఏంది చెప్పమని చెప్పు. అర్థమైందా?
అడిగాను సంతోష్ అలా. ఇప్పుడు
స్క్రీన్ షాట్ తీసి పంపించమని చెప్పు.
60 సర్వర్స్ అలా ఉంటవి, వాడు ఇలా ఆటోమేటిక్ గా అవుతుందండి, మా చేతిలో ఏం లేదని చెప్తారు.
ఆటోమేటిక్ ఎట్లకెళ్ళి అవుతుంది పోయి ఆటోమేటిక్ గా? అంత బ్లంట్ గా చెప్తారు, చెప్పలేరు వాళ్ళు.
అలా అయితే ఇప్పుడు 60 సర్వర్స్ అన్ని కరెక్ట్ టైం అవుతున్నాయి, ఈ 2-3 సర్వర్స్ ఏంటి ఇలా అవుతున్నాయి అని క్వశ్చన్ వేస్తే వాళ్ళు కామ్గా ఉన్నారు మళ్ళీ.
అదే అంటున్నా, ఆ సర్వర్స్ ఐడియల్లీ ఇఫ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ బీయింగ్ డన్ త్రూ SCCM, మేబీ ఆ సర్వర్ కి 2-3 పాలసీస్ ఏమో అసైన్ చేసి పెట్టుంటారు. ఇవన్నీ వాళ్ళు చెక్ చేయాలి. ఓకే, అందుకే అన్న ఫస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్, how the patching is being done? Is it through SCCM or is it through Azure native tool?
Okay.
If it is through SCCM, what is the policy that has been assigned to that server? Give us the policy and the maintenance schedule in a screenshot.
Okay.
Okay, if it is through Azure native tool, again the same thing, screenshot of this maintenance schedule for that particular server.
Okay.
That will give you an answer. Okay na?
Okay.
Right. SCCM లో ఏంటంటే ఒక సర్వర్ 2-3 దాంట్లో వేసేయచ్చు, పొరపాటున పడిపోతే. ఓకే, ఇక్కడ చేయలేం. Azure native లో. All right.
Okay.
Right. So coming back to our point, ikkada, so you need to pick these based on the disk tier, not on the size. Okay, not based on the size. It has to be on based on the disk tier. Okay. Now, if I want to upgrade this disk, I cannot do it because see, resize avatle. Enduku avatle? Because my machine is in a running state. I need to stop the server. I need to stop the server in order to increase the capacity of a disk. అర్థమైందా? Hello?
Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes,
Sam.
Santosh.
Right. So machine stop avaniవ్వండి. Let's wait for a minute.
సంతోష్, ఇప్పుడు మీరు క్రియేట్ చేసిన VM కి నాతో పాటు నా టీమ్ మెంబర్స్ కూడా యాక్సెస్ ఇవ్వాలంటే ఎక్కడ యూజర్స్ ని క్రియేట్ చేసుకోవాలి? సర్వర్ లో క్రియేట్ చేసుకోవాలి
Server
లేదంటే ఇక్కడే
లోపల.
సర్వర్ లో?
Server లో.
ఐడియల్ గా నేను ఒక విషయం చెప్తా. It may not be inside the server. Okay. ఇప్పుడు there are two things and let me write it down. One, domain joined servers. Okay. If it is a domain joined server, you will have your own credentials, right? మీ own credentials ఉంటాయి. అంటే SSO logins ఉంటాయి కదా. You'll have your own logins for your client, right?
Yes.
So these credentials should be AD group అని ఉంటుందండి. ఆ AD group లో మీ ID యాడ్ చేయాలి. And this AD group will be added inside this server. Okay. I'll show you how it will be done. Two non-domain joined servers. This you need to create local credentials. But local admin credentials antaru. If a local admin credentials is created, you will have a full access to the server. Ideally, non-domain joined servers ante internet facing ఉంటాయి. Domain join is again in complete internal servers. Internal servers, everything should be domain joined. Only the internet facing server should be non-domain joined because you are not supposed to expose your domain to public. అర్థమైందా? It leads to hacking. చూపిస్తాను. Let me increase the size of the disk. Go to size plus performance. 8 GB. See, now I'm able to do so. Resize. Go back to your server. I can start it. It's fine. వచ్చిందా? But let me start the server. I think it's still starting up. Okay, smart. ఇక్కడ చూపిస్తాను. See, it is trying to get the screenshot. See, my machine is started. Okay, it is in a different time zone though. That is fine. See, I've got the public IP. MSTSC. You can use remote desktop or this shortcut MSTSC. Okay. Now, if I go to my disk, I will still be able to see only 4 GB. Ideal. Go to disk management. See, I'm seeing an 8 GB disk. Right click, new simple volume. Next, 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 next. Done. Now I'm able to see his new E drive. అర్థమైందా ఇక్కడ వరకు అందరికి? How to attach a new disk,
Yes.
right? Now the question that you guys were asking, right? User go to computer management. Is it computer management? No, wait. I think computer management. Yeah. If you go to users, this is where you actually add you know, new user. This is where you can create a multiple users for the non-domain joined servers. Okay, for the non-domain joined servers you will be able to create a new users. Okay, just like మనం lab through access చేసినాం కదా, lab is a గుర్తుందా మన authentication username
Yes,
ఇదన్నట్టు.
Yes.
Yes.
For the domain join, I think I'm not getting that option. Domain join first ఎట్లా చేస్తామంటే, go to system. See, this is work group, which means non-domain join. Change. I need to add it into domain. Okay. Domain join చేసినాక I'll get a new option to add the group or the user to that group. Ideally, domain join చేసంటే చేసి ఏమైందంటే from the AD we can manage from the Active Directory. Okay. అర్థమైందా మహేష్, కృష్ణ?
Yes, sir.
So this is it. ఒక్క నిమిషం అండి, I am sharing yesterday's recording over chat. You guys can take it up. Okay, and please don't miss tomorrow's session. We'll stop here for today. Okay, రేపటి session అస్సలు మిస్ కాకండి. I'm going to tell you a few things and we're going to start the networking basics. And delete. Done. So I'm deleting the entire thing. Resource group delete చేసేస్తే, if I delete my resource group, right, inside the resource group I'm having all this. ఇన్నెందుకు వచ్చినాయి, కథ ఏంది మొత్తం రేపు చెప్తా మీకు. And if I delete this resource group, my entire resources will be deleted, which is inside it. Okay. And today's recording I'll share it tomorrow. Okay. Any questions?
No.
చెప్పండి ఇక్కడ.
No.
All right. Anyone else? All right. So then thank you guys. Please join on time. Let's connect back again tomorrow, same time. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye.